Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about good ideas. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, hi Frederick, I found that this was posted on a video I made which is called What Prevents a Software Engineer from Becoming a Tech Lead? And the question was, another real problem is that good ideas often can't be implemented because there are structural problems in the company that results in perverse incentives and even punishment for doing the right thing. I think you would have to be very respected and influential to be able to overcome such internal politics. What do you think, Frederick? So basically in that video I explained that the difference the thing that blocks people from becoming a tech lead as software engineer, if you're a software developer and you want to become a tech lead, and even an architect, it's a little bit different, but it's the same plumbing to do it, is to one part to have the social skills to do it and the holistic business mindset and all that good stuff, but also to have good ideas and an actual concrete thing that can be done in order to improve the work situation at whatever company. And what the person here is describing is very, very true. It's actually the main reason why complacency sets in. But it's also the thing that I believe is the difference between this is the thing that most people do not understand, and which I honestly it's the reason why I think MVP is so hard for a lot of people to follow, because although, as this person is describing, a lot of the issues related to legacy and systematic problems and so forth, they are related to the fact that this code is in a state, it's in a current state that you don't control. It's one of the main reasons actually why I think it's hilarious when people, it's not that much anymore, but I think I got a lot of breathing room when I disabled all comments on all old like beginner level videos, because now I just can breathe instead of having to reply to people who say, oh Frederick, but don't you know that you can use library A, B and C, or don't you know that you just do this and then use service that service, etc, etc. And the reason why that is so tiresome for at least for me is to listen to is because of this exact thing. Because if you have a greenfield project, yes, you can start from scratch, you can do whatever the hell you want. But as this person is describing, that's usually not the case when you do serious software development. Usually you have a lot of decisions that have been made beforehand. Same thing, like my favorite one is CSS. If you have a bad developer write CSS with a lot of specificity and nesting and all this other good stuff, if they don't really know what they're doing, it's actually practically impossible for you, as someone who comes along later, to implement certain things on the page, because decisions have been made on your behalf that makes it practically impossible to scale the thing. And here is, as this person is describing, here is the problem. If you try to fix it, if you try to do the right thing, you are in a pickle. You're in a real pickle, because you might not be able to do the real thing or the right thing. You might have to do these weird workarounds and hacks and so forth, and as they're describing, you might actually be punished for that. You can be, and this is the thing that I believe is the maturity that a real senior software developer has to get if you want to be effective in the role of, say, a tech lead or something like that. You have to be okay with doing the right thing and having people think that you're dumb until they ask why are things taking so long, and then tell them the truth. And what I usually tell the junior software developers who reach out about insecurities and so forth is that the reason why you're very incentivized to give false expectations and like embellish how fast you can do things and overpromise and stuff like that, it is because you're afraid of what the stakeholder's gonna say. You're afraid that they're gonna judge you, you're afraid that you're gonna get fired, you're afraid of all of these things. But the reality is that the other choice is to basically do bad work. And when in the beginning of things, I usually say that I did the same thing when I was a junior. You overpromise, you try to hack things together because that anxiety is there. The only thing I can say, which is I think very nice, is that when you get a little bit more mature and you actually get to feel comfortable in your skills, you can actually meet expectations while doing the key thing that as to why I don't think MVP works. And that is to take a step in the right direction. Well, you see, this thing that you're describing, I was in an architect's meeting a few days ago, and basically we had like the business side of the company came to me and a few of the other architects working, and even the head of the department and stuff like that. And they basically explained to me that they wanted to create an automated solution for a specific part of the system, and it's a fairly complicated feature. It's not impossible to do, but it's a very dangerous feature as well because it's related to money and discounts and things like that. And so I asked, why is it that we need to automate this? Because although I understand the value of automation, we should be aware of the maintenance in terms of man hours to maintain such a complicated solution, and especially when it's high risk like this, because any mistakes in the algorithm can amount to massive losses for the company. Because if there's a bug in something that is going to set the price automatically for somebody, as you can imagine, that's actually very dangerous. So it's actually a feature where it makes a lot of sense to have a human review and approve the thing before it actually sets the discount. And so the PO kind of avoids it a little bit, tries to say, well, yeah, it's probably not so much about man hours, it's more about stability. And I go, what do you mean stability? Well, we have this other system that is really, really unperformant, and I suppose what we want is to reduce our dependency on that system. So I ask, but it seems to me that what we're trying to do now is to use this feature to bridge the fact that we have a bad system over there. Surely it's much better for us to not add even more complexity on top of this and kind of patch the underlying problem, because the underlying problem is this unperformant system, and we should probably address the source of the root of the problem. And then because I knew that this was going to happen, the truth comes out, and she says, yeah, but we sort of learned that it's unfeasible time-wise to do that. And so I say, but so what you're saying is that we're in such a rush to fix this thing that we're open to degrading the rest of the system in order to not have to deal with this. Surely it's better for us to just reallocate the resources that we would have put in building this feature to fix the underlying problem. And then now the head of the department steps in and says, but what are you saying, that we can't fix our own system? And basically the whole discussion became a talk about this exact thing that you're talking about. The incentive for the PO was not to do the right thing. The incentive was to ship this thing that has to do with whatever they're doing, because they're thinking in a selfish manner. They're thinking from their perspective. They're not thinking from what's holistically good for the company. And this is the problem in IT. Most departments and most people in IT, they are only interested in doing what's right for them. They do not want to take to risk this thing to get punished for not being able to deliver under all circumstances. And this is where this is what a tech lead has to be able to do. If you want to be good at the job, you have to be able to stand up and say, this is the thing that is the problem, and it's unfortunate, but we need to, we didn't do this right from the beginning, because at the end of the day, guys, you cannot be held responsible for the decisions of lesser developers or lesser people that came before you. You can only communicate what is actually true. And when you have done that, then the PO and like their business people and like they're gonna have to make their own decision, and their decision is more interesting, I think, because their decision is gonna be: are we now gonna listen to the professional and do the right thing, or are we going to try to force them to give us the answer that we want? So what I want you to take away from this is that I believe that it is absolutely true that perversion or like incentives and this whole, it's the same, I mean, it's the same thing in everything. You think it's this, it's the this is the root of all evil within the governments and companies and middle management and so forth, and it is simply that there is a state, there's something has happened, and then someone puts expectations on you, and the only way you can do the thing that is expected of you is to cheat, be corrupt, write legacy code, or cut corners and so forth, because you're afraid that you are going to be in the hot seat because of whatever is already there. And the true solution to this problem, a true senior software developer, a true tech lead and architect, is the sort of person who has to be mature enough to just go and say, I know that we can do things in a bad way, we can do it in this way, we can do it in that way. Identify all the ways we can do this, and then just say tell the truth and say, but these are not good solutions. This is the root of the problem, and we should address that. And then leave the decision to the business people. It's that simple. And I found this to be the most effective way to work. It's actually the MVP pattern in essence. You simply take a step in the right direction. You just start by speaking the truth, and then if they don't want to fix the problems, then you hack it together, because now somebody else has made the decision for you. But I've found this to be very effective, and I basically do this on, like, it's the Boy Scouting rule. Whenever I take on a story and something is really, really bad, I don't rewrite the whole system, but I fix the part that I'm working on, even if it takes longer. And then I wait until somebody has a complaint with my performance, and then I simply explain, oh, I'm sorry, there are a lot of problems, and I actually just fixed them, but I can of course just cut some corners and write bad code if that's what you prefer. Never really had anybody tell me to stop writing good code when I approach it that way. Have a great day.